You look ridiculous in that thing.
Is that so? Or could it be that you're just a little bit worried that you may have missed the boat?
Seinfeld's magic wasn't just in its writing, but in those unpredictable bursts when the cast broke free. Some of the show's most iconic laughs came from improv and on-set spontaneity. These 12 unscripted moments gave Seinfeld its raw, unforgettable charm, counting down from 12 to the most legendary of all. Number 1. George's marine biologist speech, Jason Alexander. Let's go back to 1994, Season 5 of Seinfeld. In the episode The Marine Biologist, Jason Alexander steps up for one of the show's most unforgettable moments. Minutes before the cameras rolled, the now famous golf ball monologue landed in his hands, unrehearsed and sprawling. George Costanza, always a tornado of misfortune, finds himself spinning the wildest of lies, only to deliver that iconic closing. "The sea was angry that day, my friends, like an old man trying to send back soup at a deli." Alexander barely had time to breathe, let alone memorize, so he riffed. The entire set watched as Jason unleashed George's manic retelling, right down to the surprise reveal of the Titleist golf ball, all in one flawless, hilariously desperate take. What should have been chaos became perfection, a testament to trusting the moment and the performer. Even decades later, you can hear that punchline echo in living rooms and break rooms everywhere. And so begins our journey through Seinfeld's most perfect moments of improvisation. Number 2. Kramer's door entrances, Michael Richards. Before the laughter even started, you could hear that burst, the signature bang of Kramer bursting through Jerry's door on Seinfeld. Michael Richards made every arrival unforgettable. Sometimes he'd slide, sometimes he'd spin, or pull off an elaborate pratfall that looked too wild to be planned. The real kicker? Richards was improvising almost every time. Even the cast was thrown off. In episodes taped between 1989 and 1998 on NBC, his unpredictable entrances made the audience erupt, and his co-stars break character, desperately stifling grins. Writers left only a simple cue in the script. Kramer enters. That left Richards to invent something on the fly, embedding a jolt of energy into every scene. Jerry's reactions, the laughter that flowed, the sense that anything could happen at any moment, all of that started with one unscripted move. It became a live wire throughout the show, sparking up those must-see Thursday nights. You never knew what was about to explode through that door, but hearing those hinges click was your cue. Something memorable was coming. Let's swing open the next door and see what else lies ahead. Number 3. Elaine's Stella breakdown, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Sometimes the best moments in a show come completely out of left field. In the 1991 Seinfeld episode called The Pen, Julia Louis-Dreyfus turned a routine dinner party scene into something unforgettable. After a bizarre exchange with Jerry's parents about sleeping arrangements, Julia, as Elaine, suddenly belted out, "Stella!" at the top of her lungs. The shout was a wild nod to the classic line from A Streetcar Named Desire, and it surprised everyone, including the cast and crew. This wasn't in the script, but Julia's unhinged delivery sent the entire set into fits of laughter, giving us one of the most delightfully unguarded moments in sitcom history. That spontaneous outburst captured the blurring line between actor and character, the kind of comedic gold you just can't plan. It's proof that, on Seinfeld, the most memorable laughs sometimes came from pure unscripted genius. And there, in the chaos of a cramped Florida condo, Julia Louis-Dreyfus left a mark that's still echoing with fans today. The night flowed on, weirder and funnier than before, just as Seinfeld always promised. Number 4. 12 times Seinfeld actors went off script, the chicken roaster coffee spill. The table is cluttered with takeout chicken, the set lights are hot, and Michael Richards is deep into one of his wildest performances as Kramer. It's the 1996 episode The Chicken Roaster, and amidst all the chaos, Richards reaches for his coffee, only to splash scorching hot liquid onto himself. His yowl of pain cuts straight through the rehearsed dialogues, and Jerry Stiller's wide-eyed shock right next to him is no act. In that moment, the laughter billowing from the live audience isn't just for the script. It's a reaction to raw, unfiltered comedy. Richards, always a physical comedian, takes this accidental moment and runs with it. Co-star Jerry Seinfeld's attempts not to break character make the interplay all the more authentic, and the scene's lively back and forth kept fans talking for years. It's a snapshot of Seinfeld's genius, letting fearless improvisation shine, even when it comes from a piping hot mistake. You can still feel the lingering taste of rotisserie chicken and sense that rare electricity on a TV set when everything unexpected just works. Where would the next unscripted triumph strike? Number 5. George's answering machine song, Jason Alexander. Picture this: George Costanza, desperate answering machines at their tackiest, and one unforgettable jingle. In the season 8 episode The Susie, Jason Alexander took the comedy reins into his own hands. Rather than lip-syncing to a polished track, Alexander insisted he would personally record the parody of the Greatest American Hero theme. Armed with just his own comedic instincts, he belted out the "Believe it or not, George isn't at home" melody, teetering between full commitment and pure embarrassment. Fans can instantly hear his awkward falsetto and over-the-top delivery, the result charming precisely because it sounded like a real guy grasping for attention. The creative choice wasn't in the script, but Alexander's personalized touch transformed a simple joke into a legendary sitcom moment. To this day, fans replay the scene and even set it as their own voicemail greeting, proof that sometimes unpolished beats perfect. As the Seinfeld world moved forward, this impromptu performance echoed, reminding everyone that a little risk can become comedy gold. Let's pause for a second. Did you ever record a goofy outgoing message or beg your parents not to? Which answering machine moment from TV shows brought the biggest laugh in your living room? Share your favorite audio nostalgia below. Number 6. Elaine's soda spit take. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. The fizz of a cold can of soda, a perfectly timed joke. Sometimes television magic is purely accidental. In Seinfeld's 3rd season, the episode called The Boyfriend delivered a gem for the ages. It happened when Jerry and Elaine are caught in a swirl of gossip about Keith Hernandez. Jerry lobs a quick-witted line, and what Julia Louis-Dreyfus does next was never in any script. She actually snorted and sprayed a mouthful of soda across the table, caught off guard by the joke's timing. This was no planned pratfall. Her gasp, blush, and that sticky, sputtering aftermath weren't just funny, they were absolutely real. The audience lost it. Editors loved it so much, they left the spontaneous spit take in, proof that sometimes breaking character makes for the best television. Julia's authentic reaction helped seal the moment's legacy, showing how Seinfeld thrived on surprise and lived in hilarity. Episodes like this remind us, the laughter you hear is as real as the fizz on your tongue. What unexpected delight comes next? Let's find out. Number 7. Kramer's golf ball reveal. Michael Richards. You can still picture that unforgettable scene from Seinfeld. Kramer bursts in, wild-eyed, holding a saltwater-soaked Titleist in his palm. It happened in The Marine Biologist, airing in 1994, and the entire studio feels electric. Michael Richards, always a master of physical comedy, takes it one step further this time. When the script called for Kramer to confess he'd lost a golf ball at the beach, Richards went off script, flinging the ball across Jerry's apartment in a triumphant show and tell. The surprise, the comic beat, it all lands perfectly. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Jason Alexander, even Jerry Seinfeld himself, none of them can hide their laughter. It's that split second of genuine shock, pure unscripted glee that elevated the moment from sitcom gag to TV legend. Just a cast, a set, and a random golf ball. Somehow it becomes one of those scenes you'll always remember. And it reminds us that sometimes the best comedy comes when nobody, not even the actors, knows what's coming next. Let's see where spontaneity takes us in the next story. Number 8. George gets glossed. Jason Alexander. There's an unforgettable moment on Seinfeld when George Costanza, desperate to show his best self, finds new ways to fail publicly. In the episode The Fire from 1994, Jason Alexander, playing George, sits nervously while trying to impress a new boss at a staff meeting. While handling a donut, Alexander, in a burst of authentic awkwardness, rubs the crumbs onto his pants and mutters, "Always brush the crumbs away." That entire gesture, from the physical fumble to the muttered justification, wasn't in the script. The unscripted move captured George's bottomless anxiety and made the scene feel uncomfortably real, transforming a mundane snack into television gold. What sets this apart is how Alexander's improvisation nailed what makes Seinfeld tick, the details of everyday failure. In a show celebrated for its sharp writing, these off-the-cuff moments remind us that sometimes the best comedy springs from raw, relatable discomfort. The donut scene became proof that imperfection and a little improvisation could make a sitcom legend even more human. Next, we unravel another classic Seinfeld scene that was never meant to happen. Number 9. Elaine's Little Kicks dance. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Flailing legs, flappy arms, and a total disregard for rhythm, few sitcom moments ended up as iconic as Elaine Beans's wild dancing in the Seinfeld episode The Little Kicks. In 1996, Julia Louis-Dreyfus was simply told to make it bad, and what she delivered was pure comedic genius. Without choreography or rehearsal, Julia trusted her instincts, letting loose with a performance so unhinged that crew members struggled to keep straight faces behind the camera. The invented dance, later dubbed Elaine's Little Kicks, became instant shorthand for lovable awkwardness. Viewers at home couldn't help but wince. and howl as Elaine shimmied earnestly across the screen, turning a throwaway office party into comedy legend. It was unscripted brilliance that stayed with fans for decades, giving anyone with two left feet hope they'd found a kindred spirit. In true Seinfeld fashion, sometimes going off the rails makes for television gold. And with that, we move on to the next surprising twist in classic sitcom spontaneity. Number 10. Kramer's turkey giblet gag, Michael Richards. You can almost hear the slap of giblets hitting the plate. During the 1997 episode The Butter Shave, Michael Richards took his breakfast business as Kramer to new extremes. In a kitchen filled with slapstick chaos, Richards went off script. He started grabbing turkey giblets from the fridge, shaking them out onto his plate, totally unscripted. This oddball touch wasn't in the script, but it made Jerry, George, and Elaine lose it, turning a routine kitchen scene into pure Seinfeld madness. Richards always brought an edge of unpredictability to Kramer, but this move, drenching eggs in poultry parts, sent the absurdity sky high. What was supposed to be a simple breakfast turned into one of the show's most visceral sight gags. It's these genuine, messy, off-script moments that made the show feel alive and unfiltered. Next time you remember Kramer's culinary antics, imagine the look on your own face if your friend pulled this at brunch. Let's keep moving and see which unscripted magic made the list next. Number 11. Hello, Newman. Wayne Knight. You can almost hear it. That slow, simmering, "Hello, Newman." Wayne Knight's line delivery on Seinfeld became a viral catchphrase before there was even a word for it. Encouraged by the show's writers to play up his arch-nemesis status, Knight took that brief greeting and injected it with equal parts menace and mischief. It was more than just hello. Each time he entered Jerry's apartment, his greeting unwound with delicious venom, stretching into awkward, hilarious silence. Knight made his debut as Newman in 1992 and quickly turned the character into sitcom legend. The reaction from the studio audience said it all, but so did Jerry Seinfeld's pained on-screen grimace. What started as a throwaway line became an inside joke millions shared. Knight's personal spin didn't just amplify a running gag, it made every Newman entrance an event, nudging the show into TV folklore. Next time you hear the door click, imagine the anticipation, never knowing which twist will make you laugh hardest next. Number 12. George's Wallet. Meltdown. Jason Alexander. The sound of paper tearing and George Costanza's voice rising in exasperation. Few scenes capture the absurdity of everyday life better than Jason Alexander's famous wallet meltdown. In the reverse peephole, which first aired in 1998, George reaches his breaking point as he dumps a mountain of receipts, coupons, and crumpled business cards onto Jerry's table, railing about the perils of a fat wallet. What most fans never realized is that Alexander took the original script, which only called for a brief complaint, and ran with it. He unleashed a frantic, increasingly desperate tirade about loyalty cards and useless receipts, each point more ridiculous than the last. The crew and cast barely kept straight faces as Alexander riffed and ranted, making the chaos feel all too real. The brilliance of that improvised moment still makes it one of Seinfeld's most quoted scenes. With every crumpled receipt flung aside, you can feel George's pain, maybe a little too well. And just like that, the everyday mess became sitcom legend.